Donald Trump is expected to issue an executive order to prevent the ban of TikTok. Now, it's not really being banned, but Trump would be issuing an executive order to prevent TikTok from having to divest from their Chinese owners, which is very strange and makes no sense. And I don't know if it's even legally possible. The issue is that Congress in both houses passed this bill, and it was signed by Biden. Donald Trump, of course, saw tremendous benefit from TikTok, so now he's changed his mind. He's inviting the CEO to the inauguration, and I'm going to say it's a mistake. TikTok is the most censorious platform, not just in my personal experience, but full disclosure. I may be biased, and I hope it's important you know. Timcast IRL, Timcast, all the work we did was banned from TikTok for no reason. We believe that the ban happened when we hosted Myron Gaines. Yep, we're going to have him on tomorrow morning on the Culture War, and nothing crazy was even said. But that was the day they nuked our platform, at least as far as we know. There's no recourse. There's no appeals. Just gone. Now, I guess people have said just make a new account, use a different name. And I'm like, are we going to keep playing this game of whack-a-mole with TikTok? Now, from this, obviously, you can say I'm biased. Fine. I do know a lot of people completely agree. TikTok had been the most censorious for a long time. That's why Republicans wanted it banned in the first place. Let me clarify. Not so much a ban. That was the initial talking point. But ultimately, fine, just divest from China. Bring your servers into the United States. We can see through them. We can understand how the algorithm works and determine whether or not TikTok is manipulating young people. I think TikTok is a dangerous platform. I think Trump is easily massaged. TikTok says, they're going to ban us? Okay, give conservatives some freebies, not the ones we don't like. Help Donald Trump a little bit. We'll pony up to him, cozy up to him, and then Donald Trump will give us what we want. And it appears that's what is happening. I do find it funny because I had this debate yesterday, and I was talking to Bobby Sauce, and he was saying, sometimes Trump's playing 5D chess, and other times he's an idiot. And I'm like, bro, I've never played those games, okay? I think Trump does some things that are really good, and I have never played the game of saying that Donald Trump is this saint. I think he is very much driven by ego. I don't think he's a comic book villain, but I don't think he's purely altruistic. I think he's a guy. He puts his name in big gold letters up on a building. I think he's the best president of my lifetime. His foreign policy is unparalleled, but not this. This is a mistake. TikTok is the most censorious platform. It wasn't just that they just banned us outright, but certain videos would disappear. Facebook was the next worst, but it seems like Mark Zuckerberg's come around to Donald Trump's way of thinking. Okay, fine. If Trump wants to try and pull an executive order off, we're happy to try and make TikTok work, but we can't see what the algorithm does, and I think it's a weapon being used against us. Go to TikTok and what do you see? You've got these people who have crackpot woke ideology worldviews with massive followings. So Donald Trump wins with some memes, and then TikTok gets to carry on poisoning the mind of our children. Ask yourself this. Why is TikTok not allowed in China? Let me ask you again. TikTok is not allowed in China. Why? Well, in China, they have something called Douyin. And as the story goes, Douyin more likely features science, math, reading, strength, honor, integrity. And TikTok promotes gender ideology, weird, woke, critical theory videos. So what happens? Over a long enough period of time, even if it's only 10, 20, 30%, if the content has these ideas, it will be a major detriment to the American people. Now, some argue, but Tim, what if the ideas are correct? Well, Americans have a right to argue to Americans. But China's interests is not in making sure our young people are having healthy debates. It's to cause chaos that will ultimately destroy this country. And hey, the same is true for Iran and Russia. They get no freebies. Here's a story from the New York Times. The move is under discussion as the Chinese-owned app faces a Sunday deadline to find a new buyer or shut down in the U.S. Wrong. They don't have to shut down. They're choosing to shut down. TikTok could simply pull their app from, TikTok's app would be pulled from the stores, still available to American users. Instead, they're saying, nah, we'll just shut it down. Why? The rumor is they want to shut down to shock the hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs on the platform in this country. Though there are an estimated 100 to 170 million users, a couple 100,000 are considered entrepreneurs making money. They want to screw them over and say, don't look at us. Blame Trump. Blame the Democrats. That's how it goes. Now, I'm going to say, I don't think it's possible. I don't believe there's an executive order that could actually do this. Trump can't executive order out a law. He can executive order out enforcement, depending on who has the enforcement capabilities. The New York Times says the possible executive order is under discussion as TikTok faces a deadline on Sunday to be banned in the U.S. unless it finds a new owner. The popular video sharing app is owned by ByteDance, a Chinese company. Republicans have said for years that they see the app, which has been downloaded to millions of smartphones, as a national security risk. It is. It has become a rare issue that has united both parties in Congress. If the Supreme Court upholds the law, which will ban the app unless ByteDance sells it to a non-Chinese company, special treatment from Mr. Trump might be the only way for TikTok to continue operating in the U.S. in the near term. The law requires app store operators like Apple and Google and cloud computing providers to stop distributing TikTok in the United States. Now, listen, my friends, Facebook bans us all the time, okay? It's hard to operate on the platform. Revenue is in the gutter. And I have never called for Zuckerberg to be arrested or to be forced to divest because it's an American company. We filed lawsuits. Investigators investigated. We uncovered these weird portals and plots. Bad companies do bad things. We challenge them. TikTok has a Chinese owner, and we don't want Chinese influence. You want to make an argument about face CIA book, they call it? Please. But at least we're fighting our own government with our rights, our free speech, our lawyers, etc. We can't compel China to do anything. And they are more censorious on ideas that are good for America. They say an executive order could try to direct the government not to enforce the law or to delay enforcement to complete a deal. And Trump can do that. A move that past presidents have used to challenge laws. It is unclear if an executive order would survive legal challenges or persuade the app stores and cloud computing companies take steps that could expose them to huge penalties. Yeah, here's why I think it won't work. The law would require Apple and Google to remove the app from their stores. Trump could issue an executive order saying, do not enforce action against these companies, but it would still be on paper, right? The executive branch enforces law. So Trump could say, executive order to the DEA, stop enforcing laws related to marijuana. It's not that it's ending the laws. It's that he's instructing his law enforcers to not take action in that regard, which he can do. It's not really ever used to such an extreme degree, but yeah, sometimes. There was, I believe Obama did something like this related to enforcement of marijuana laws in certain areas, but it never really, it's like, not really, was what a lot of people said. Donald Trump might say this. Here's the problem. The fines and fees will still exist. And that means 4 years later, it could be a bomb dropped on Apple or Google. So unless Congress acts, an executive order like this won't change the minds of the private companies that will privately take enforcement action. I say good riddance to a bad problem. TikTok was playing fast and loose the whole time, promoting gender ideology garbage to kids. It was only when Republicans threatened to ban it that TikTok came around and promoted some Republican voices. Donald Trump says, this is good for me. I'll take it. And I got to be honest, it's good for a lot of us. Trump winning was good for us. But we can't sit back and just say, change your mind when you feel like it. What happens if during the midterms, TikTok sits back and then says, if you want to win, here's what we want. Stop banning our purchase of farmlands. And then the Republicans say, we have too many young people voting using TikTok. You see the problem? Do not give them this leverage. But it's probably going to happen. We'll see. They say, while there is some speculation the app will still work if it's already been downloaded. Yeah. The law also, but the rumor is they said they're going to redirect American users to a wall saying your app has been disabled. Something like that. And blaming politicians. They say one person close to Trump's team said some of his allies had loose discussions about buying TikTok, but provided no details. Mr. Biden, whose term ends Monday, a day after the ban is set to go into effect, is also under pressure to find a way to save the app. The New York Times reported late Wednesday that TikTok's chief executive, Shou Chew, is expected to attend Mr. Trump's inauguration on Monday and was offered a seat on the dais. TikTok declined to comment. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go to the inauguration and go to the guy and say, why did you ban my company? There's many others who got banned. There's no way to challenge those bans. The accounts are just gone. It's a trash platform. I'll say it again. You are allowed to criticize me as biased. I would not withhold that information from you. We never liked TikTok. We decided, like every other platform, to start using it. They banned us for no reason with no recourse. Many other people fell in the same boat. We all got mad. Why are pro-Trump voices critical of critical theory being banned on the platform? Republicans made a move to say, we don't like what China is doing. We can complain about X and Facebook. We don't like what they're doing either. And they turned around. Or I should say Twitter was bought by Elon. What can we do about a foreign country doing this and persisting in doing this? Here's the game, man. This is the game. They say Trump changed his mind. He said, we won with young people. Sure. But this is still giving China access and control to influence in this country, which is a mistake. We'll see how it goes. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. at youtube.com/Timcast, breaking down how the insurance companies are not completely at fault in the fires. California policies nuked those companies from the get-go. Smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member at timcast.com, and we'll see you all in the next segment.